Alex Eala crowns a golden year as Philippine sports finds its defining moment. The year Philippine sports have been waiting for arrived with the sound of a tennis ball cracking against history, and at its center stood Alex Eala. In a season filled with breakthroughs and long-awaited triumphs, nothing resonated louder than the 20-year-old left-hander's rise from promising prospect to global contender, a journey that reshaped how the world looks at Filipino tennis and how a nation sees its own sporting future. What made Eala's 2025 campaign extraordinary was not just the milestones she collected, but the stages on which she claimed them. Her season ignited on one of the sport's grandest platforms, where she entered the Miami Open as a wild card and left as a headline. Match after match, she dismantled pedigree and expectation, stringing together victories that forced the tennis world to pay attention. The run culminated in a stunning upset of world number 2 IGA Swiatek, a win that felt less like an anomaly and more like an announcement that a new force had arrived. Momentum followed her across the calendar. At the U.S. Open, Eala crossed another barrier by winning a main draw match, becoming first Filipino to do so in a Grand Slam event. Each point carried symbolic weight, not only for her own career, but for a country long searching for representation on tennis' biggest stages. By the time she lifted her first WTA trophy in Guadalajara after a gritty 3-set comeback, the conversation had shifted from potential to legitimacy. No Filipino player had ever won a WTA title before. Now, the door was permanently open. The ascent was mirrored by her climb in the rankings, breaking into the world's top 50 and redefining expectations for what a Filipina athlete could achieve in a traditionally Euro-American-dominated sport. Yet, perhaps the most emotionally resonant chapter came closer to home. When Eala stepped onto the court at the Southeast Asian Games, she carried not just form but history. Her decisive win over Thailand's Maninkaya Sawanki delivered the Philippines its first women's singles tennis gold at the regional meet in 26 years, closing the year with a statement that felt both personal and national. While Eala commanded the global spotlight, the broader Philippine sports landscape thrived alongside her. The Southeast Asian Games became a showcase of depth and diversity, with athletes across disciplines delivering performances that reinforced the country's growing regional strength. On the basketball court, June Mar Fajardo continued to define an era, collecting a record-extending 9th PBA Most Valuable Player award and anchoring the national team's return to Southeast Asian supremacy. His sustained excellence served as a reminder that longevity, when paired with discipline, can be just as inspiring as breakout stardom, beyond the medals and trophies. 2025 was marked by institutional milestones that underscore how success is built over time. Grassroots leagues, collegiate competitions, and regional programs celebrated anniversaries and championships that spoke to years of quiet investment finally bearing fruit. These systems formed the backbone that allowed elite athletes to emerge, compete, and ultimately excel. As the year drew to a close, a clear narrative emerged. Philippine sports did not hinge on a single victory or discipline, but on a convergence of moments that collectively raised the ceiling. At the heart of it all was Alex Eala's transformative run, a season that blended fearlessness with composure and talent with timing. Her journey offered more than highlights. It provided a blueprint. In doing so, she did not just define a year. She signaled what the future could look like when belief, opportunity, and preparation finally align.